Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Leslie. Today I would like to talk to you about 12 things I no longer buy. These are 12 things that I've decided I do not want to waste my money on. The first one is coffee shops. I talked about in another video about how my office moved to a new location that has a Starbucks now. And a lot of times people in the office will go to Starbucks and get their drinks. I am not even a huge Starbucks fan, but I got sucked into doing this because it just became kind of a ritual. I spent $120 in a month on Starbucks, and I don't even like Starbucks that much. And a lot of times I was only getting tea. Like, it should not be that expensive to get tea. So I decided I am no longer spending money on coffee shops. Another thing that I don't spend money on is getting my nails done. I go short and bare on the nails. I don't care to get them done. I know a lot of people do. They find it just looks nice. I mean, it does, but it's something that I don't care for. I've had my nails done once in my entire life, and it was because my husband paid for it when I turned, I think, like 32 maybe. It was a few years ago. And I got them, and I don't know, I just didn't care for it. It was boring getting it done, having to sit there and not be able to use my hands. I just really didn't like it. I didn't particularly like the result, and my nails grow really fast, so it didn't even last that long. It was like a week before I had significant growth in my nails, and the polish was just starting to go too far up my nail. So I do not spend money on getting my nails done. Another thing is restaurants and fast food. I have IBS and GERD, which is basically acid reflux. So I have a pretty strict diet to deal with those things. For one, I don't eat gluten, and that helps with my IBS. So going out to eat can be kind of difficult if you don't eat gluten. And I find that anytime I do go out to eat, even if it's something that is seemingly okay for me, it still gives me a stomach ache. Sometimes with work, they'll pay for our meals, so we'll go out to eat, and since it's free, I go ahead and get something. But every time we go back to the office afterwards, I'm like drinking ginger tea and eating papaya tablets and trying to like get rid of my stomach ache. So I really don't like going out to eat or getting fast food. And a lot of times too, I'm just disappointed with what I get. I love to cook, and I'm pretty good at it, I think. So I prefer my own food. And whenever I go out to eat and get something, I'm just generally disappointed because I feel like I could do better anyway. So that is something I don't spend money on. One thing I used to really struggle with was buying fast fashion. It can be so easy to get sucked into buying these really cute, trendy pieces, but they fall apart so fast. They don't hold up. You end up having to replace them. I was just spending so much money on fast fashion, thinking that I was getting a better deal and spending less money. But in the long term, I kept having to replace pieces or buy multiples of something I liked because I knew it was going to fall apart. So that's something I don't spend money on anymore. The fifth thing is something that you really don't buy that often, hopefully, but it's new cars. I have never bought a new car. I always buy used, and I probably always will. I think it's just a better deal. A lot of times when new cars come out, they tend to have problems within the first few years anyway, and they depreciate so fast as soon as you buy it. So if you can buy a used car that's just a few years old, you bypass a lot of where you lose the most money. Any recalls have been done. The depreciation has kind of evened out. So it's just such a better deal to get a used car that's a few years old. Another one, for the most part, is going to be the latest trends, especially things like micro trends. If there's stuff that sticks around a little bit longer, I probably will give into it a little bit. Like if I'm buying new clothes for some reason, I might get something that's a little more on trend. But for the most part, these micro trends and things that just blow up and then kind of fizzle out, I just don't pay that much attention to them. So that's something I don't spend money on. The next two are things that involve my daughter. So I don't spend money on luxury brand name kids clothes. They just outgrow clothes so fast. It doesn't make sense to spend your money on buying these brand name clothes. For me, I focus on quality, but for her, I just buy clothes at Target or Old Navy or whatever is cheap, because by the time it starts falling apart, she's outgrowing it anyway, and it's time to go to the next size. And the second one that has to do with my daughter is excessive toys. I really don't buy that many toys anymore. For one, her grandparents tend to keep her pretty stocked up on toys, but I find that she doesn't even really play with toys that much. Her favorite thing to do is to go outside, go to the park, go to the trampoline park. She loves doing active things. So I tend to kind of hold back on buying toys because I know she's not going to play with them. If anything, I will buy her like craft kits, coloring book type things, stuff that she can actually do that's not just going to be sitting around causing a bunch of clutter and collecting dust. Another thing I don't spend money on is generally luxury makeup brands. So I don't wear that much makeup as it is, and I'm more concerned with things like, is it toxic? Is it irritating my skin or my eyes? These are the things I look for. I really don't care about the name brand. If anything, I tend to go for more like hypoallergenic, sensitive type products. So I am definitely not spending extra money just for a brand name. The next one is the latest tech upgrades. Nowadays, the tech upgrades between like phones or laptops or anything like that, the upgrades are so minor that I think most people know now it's not worth it to buy every upgrade at this point. So when I do buy a new electronic, I try to get something that is high quality at the time so it will last me a while and I don't have to keep replacing it. For example, my laptop, I bought it like 8 years ago and it was one of the top of the line at the time. So I've been able to have it for these 8 years and it's still holding up really nice. It's starting to get a little outdated, but for what I need it for, it's still fine. Also, my TV, I just replaced it back in November. The TV I had before was secondhand and I got it from my parents. And I had it for 15 years, and there's no telling how long my parents had it before I had it. So I waited a long time to upgrade. So keeping up with the latest tech is just not something I really care about unless it's something I've had for a while and I'm finally replacing it. Then I will try to get something that is the top of the line. One that has burned me many times in the past is extended warranties. So I used to buy these on a lot of big purchases, like my couch, my laptop, things like that. But I found that if I had an issue, a lot of times I wouldn't even use the extended warranty because I wouldn't feel like it. I know we got one for our couch where if you like spilled something on it or whatever, they would replace it or clean it or whatever it was they did. So we spilled something on one of the cushions, but I didn't feel like having to send back the cushion and be without one. So we just flipped it over and let it go. We didn't even use the extended warranty on our stupid couch. I was so mad because it was pretty expensive, but I learned my lesson. I just don't buy extended warranties. And with a lot of things that you would buy them for, they already have a standard warranty. So if something really goes wrong, you can usually get it replaced. I know with my stick vacuum, it died like really soon after I got it. There was an issue with the brush roll and they ended up replacing it totally free because it was within warranty. So now I just stick with the standard warranty, no extra warranties. So the final two have to do with food. I do not buy sugary drinks and for the most part, junk food. Definitely not your standard like Cheetos and candy and stuff like that. If I buy junk food, I don't even know what I consider junk food, like protein bars. I guess processed food is what I'm getting at. I'm really picky about processed food. If I'm gonna buy something that's, or ultra processed, I should say, if I'm gonna buy something that's an ultra processed food, like chips or something, I'll try to make a somewhat healthier decision. I try not to buy like the really bad for you ultra processed snacks. And then sugary drinks I just don't drink at all. I don't drink soda and juice and stuff like that. The most I'll buy is like kombucha and coconut water, stuff like that. I used to be really bad about buying diet drinks, but over the years I've gotten a lot better because I find sometimes it's nice, it'll help with the sugar craving, but I find that I kind of get addicted to those the same way you'd get addicted to a normal soda. And sometimes drinking them almost makes me want to eat more sugar. It can kind of increase those sugar cravings. So I really try not to do that anymore. And if I really want something with flavor, I usually just drink like a tea or something, like an herbal tea. The final thing on this list is alcohol. I no longer drink alcohol, and it's not for any big, like, dramatic reason. It's just because I don't really enjoy it. So it's really that simple. If I don't enjoy it, I'm not going to be spending money on it. Those are the 12 things that I no longer spend money on. Some things I never did or only did once. A lot of them I learned my lesson. So what is your list like? What do you no longer spend money on? Or what is something that you do spend money on? Is there anything you disagree with me about on this list? I'm sure there probably is. Let me know and leave a comment, like, subscribe, do all the YouTube things, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.